This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
Now we'll turn to our Android Basics section, where we look at the next part of the Samsung system settings, and this is connected devices. And it's over to Warren.
As we continue with our journey through the OneUI from Samsung, we are in the system settings again, and today we'll be taking a look at connected devices. I am in the system settings and will now tap on connected devices.
Connected devices, Quick Share, Samsung DeX, Android Auto, 5 of 28.
Here we are, and let's go ahead and tap here.
Connected devices. Navigate up, button, out of list.
I am now in the connected devices screen, and let's go through the items that we have here, and when I'm done, then the podcast crew will comment or deliberate on some of these things. Here's what we got.
Connected devices. Quick Share, 1 of 12, in list, 12 items.
The first item we come across is the Quick Share, basically nearby share. I'll tap here to show you what I'm talking about.
Quick Share, navigate up, button, out of list.
And putting my finger down.
Upload your contacts to make more of their devices available when you share. Details.
And so the first thing we hear is talking about I could have my contacts so I could share these things. And then below that, toward the right, we got
Not now, button.
Not now, or
Upload contacts, button.
Upload contacts. So basically, in order for this to work, you would be connecting your stuff to your Samsung account. And below Upload Contacts, it says my Gmail account.
Samsung account, warcare@gmail.com.
And below that, we got
Phone name, Warren's S21, edit phone name.
There's my phone name, and I could edit my phone name basically to show when I'm sending something to someone. And below that, we have a header that says
Nearby sharing, heading, 1 of 3, in list, 3 items.
And below that,
Who can share with you, contacts only, 2 of 3.
And here we have who can share with you, and the default is contacts only. Now, if you want to change it to everybody, then you have to tap here and go choose everyone. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Who can share with you? Radio button, not selected, no one, out of list.
We got no one, and
Radio button, selected, contacts only. Only Samsung account users in your contacts can share things with you.
Next.
Radio button, not selected, anyone nearby can share with you.
And below that,
Devices signed into your Samsung account can always share with you.
In other words, if you have other Samsung devices, you could use this in sharing with those devices. And below that, we have
Cancel, button.
Cancel. And the reason is because I haven't chosen anything other than the default. If I'd chosen something else, then there will be an OK or whatever. I'll now go back.
Quick Share. Who can share with you, contacts only, 2 of 3, in list, 3 items.
The next item below this will be
Show available devices on Share panel, switch, on, 3 of 3.
We come across a toggle, a switch, basically that you could turn on and off that will show devices that are nearby that you can share with. Next.
Sharing with contacts, heading, 1 of 11, in list, 11 items.
We got the heading that says sharing with contacts, and below that we got
Link sharing history, sent today, 0B, 5.00 gigabytes, 2 of 11.
And it's telling me nothing was sent today.
Use Wi-Fi only, switch, off, 3 of 11.
We come across use Wi-Fi only, and it's off by default. That is, if I don't turn this on, it means I could do the sharing whether I'm on Wi-Fi or on a mobile data.
Auto delete expired files, off, 4 of 11.
And I could tap or toggle this on to auto delete those. By default, it is not turned on.
Private sharing, heading, 5 of 11.
We now come across private sharing, and below here we got
Private sharing history, 6 of 11.
We got a private sharing history. So if I go here, I'll see things that I've shared privately. I guarantee that I haven't done any private sharing, so no need to go in here. Next.
Set expiration, 2 days, 7 of 11.
And I can set the expiration, say, hey, this thing can disappear in X amount of time. By default is 2 days. Next.
Private number.
And next one is telling me my private number, basically my sharing private number. And I don't think I want to make that out there publicly, do I? Next.
Privacy. Heading, 9 of 11.
We come across privacy, and here's what we got.
Privacy notice, 10 of 11.
Privacy notice.
About quick share, 11 of 11.
And the last item here is about quick share. Let's now go back to the previous screen.
Connected devices. Quick share, 1 of 12, in list, 12 items.
I am back to the previous screen, and we landed back on that quick share. And progressing from here, here's what we got.
Auto switch buds, 2 of 12.
Auto switch buds, which means if you have the Samsung buds, for example, you can choose to have them automatically switch on and all of that. I don't have any, but I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Auto switch buds. Navigate up, button, out of list.
And near the top, we got a toggle.
Automatically switch your Galaxy Buds from another device to this phone when you make a call, answer a call, or play media.
And below that,
both the other device and this phone must be signed into the same Samsung account. Your Buds must have connected to this phone at least once before.
Okay.
Buds to switch to this phone, heading, 3 of 6.
And here would be the list of buds to switch to. And I don't use earbuds and all of that. So I can guarantee you that we're not going to see anything in my list. Here's what I'm talking about.
No paired Galaxy Buds, 4 of 6.
There we go. And below that will be your Samsung
account. Connected devices. Auto switch buds, 2 of 12, in list, 12 items.
I went back to the previous screen, and from here, the third item we come across is
call and text on other devices, 3 of 12.
Call and text on other devices. So basically, you could enable this so that you could make and receive calls or do texting on other devices. But the rule has to be that you have to at least have a SIM card in this phone that you'll be serving it from. And I don't have a SIM card in this, so I cannot do that. Next.
Continue apps on other devices, 4 of 12.
Continue apps on other devices, meaning you could continue with apps on other Samsung devices. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Continue apps on other devices. Navigate up, button. Pick up where you left off on other devices signed into your Samsung account. Just tap the icon that appears on the recent screen on your other devices. Supported apps, Samsung Internet, Samsung Notes. You can also copy text, images, and more on this phone and paste them on your other devices. Both devices need to have this feature and Bluetooth turned on. The devices also need to be connected to the same Wi-Fi network. In list, 3 items.
And so it's telling us how it works. And basically, if you enable this, then what would happen is that on your other devices, when you go to the recents or whatever, you'll see the apps or whatever that you've shared with the other devices. And you can just pick up on that one. So for example, if you're browsing something on this device and then you go downstairs or go some other place and got another Samsung device, for example, and provided it's signed into your Samsung account, you could just pick up from where you left and continue with your work. And below that, it just says your email address. So meaning it will have to be on that same account and you must be connected to Wi-Fi. Let's go back.
Connected devices. Continue apps on other devices, 4 of 12, in list, 12 items.
And to the right of it, you have the switch on and off.
Continue apps on other devices, switch, on.
And next.
Link to Windows, 5 of 12.
Link to Windows, something we'll be talking about. And so basically what this means is that you could just link your device to your computer, for example, your Windows computer. Let's quickly go in here so you'll see what I'm talking about.
Link to Windows. Splash screen heading loading, out of list.
Okay?
Use your phone from your PC.
And it tells us to use your phone from your PC.
Use your favorite phone apps, respond to texts, make calls, view photos, and more on your PC.
And below that,
Link your mobile device and PC, button.
link your mobile device.
I don't have a Windows PC, button.
And or I do not have a Windows PC.
Privacy statement, link.
Then we got a privacy statement, and that's the last item in there. I'm going to go back.
Connected devices. Link to Windows, 5 of 12, in list, 12 items.
And to the right of that is that on-off switch, and by default is not turned on.
Link to Windows, switch, off.
Next,
Multi-control, 6 of 12.
the next item we come across is the multi-control. Let's go in here and take a quick look at what this refers to.
Multi-control, navigate up, button, out of list.
Here's the information that we got.
Use the keyboard and mouse connected to one Galaxy device to control all your other Galaxy devices and drag and drop files between them. To connect, devices need to have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and multi-control turned on. How to connect to a Galaxy Book or tablet? Go to the multi-control settings on your Galaxy Book or tablet to connect them to your phone.
There you go. And to the right of that, we have that familiar on-off switch, and by default, this one is turned on.
Multi-control, switch, on.
The next item we come across,
Samsung DeX, 7 of 12.
next we come across Samsung DeX. That's D-E capital X. So basically, you probably heard about this, and basically the whole idea is to make your phone turn into like a desktop computer. We'll go in here and see what I'm talking about.
Samsung DeX. Navigate up, button, out of list. Get a powerful desktop experience from your phone. Cast DeX wirelessly or use a cable to connect to a monitor or TV, out of list.
And below that, we have a toggle.
Auto start when HDMI is connected. Switch, off, 1 of 2, in list, 2 items.
And by default, that is off. And then we got
Start DeX, button, out of list.
Start DEX at the very bottom. Let's go ahead and go back to the previous screen.
Connected devices. Samsung DeX, 7 of 12, in list, 12 items.
Next, we come to Smart View, which is, in other words, the usage of a casting. And Samsung, of course, always has to call something different, and so is the Smart View. Here's what I'm talking about.
Smart View, 8 of 12.
If I tap here, for example,
Smart View. More options, button, out of list. Phone to other device. Select a device to mirror your phone's screen or play content.
and that's what that is. Let's go back.
Connected devices. Smart View, 8 of 12. List, 12 items.
Next, we come across
Galaxy Wearable, 9 of 12.
Galaxy Wearable. Basically, if you tap on this, it's going to manage your watch. It'll connect to your watch and all of that. So I don't have one with me, and so I'm not going to go into this.
Smart Things, 10 of 12.
We come across smart things. So think of it like the Google Home. And this is where you can control things like lights, washers, whatever, things like that. Here's what I'm talking about.
Smart Things. Control your devices, out of list.
And putting my finger down.
Monitor and control smart TVs, light bulbs, appliances, and other devices.
And
Automate your devices.
there's the automation of devices.
Make devices respond to conditions, like turning on the lights when a door opens.
And
Make your life smarter.
make your life smarter.
Add services to do even more with your devices. By continuing, you agree to the privacy notice.
And there at the bottom, to the left, you have the Close app.
Close app, button.
And to the right of that,
Continue, button.
Continue button. I will now go back to the previous screen.
Connected devices. Smart Things, 10 of 12, in list, 12 items.
Now let's move on to the last item.
Android Auto, 11 of 12.
We have Android Auto, and basically it has to do with car connectivity. And so if you go in here, it will show you all the things that you can do with the car and all of that. Let me show you what I'm talking about by tapping here and sample some of the items that we find here in that Android Auto.
Android Auto. Navigate up, button, out of list.
Putting my finger down near the top, we got
In list. Connect a car, button.
Connect a car.
Connection help.
There's a connection help.
Previously connected cars.
You can look at your previously connected cars.
General, disabled.
Then we have something that says General and it's disabled.
Customize launcher. Choose which apps show in Android Auto and how they appear in the car screen launcher.
So you could tap here to choose which apps should appear on your Android Auto. Next.
Hey Google, detection, hands-free voice commands.
And you can go in here and customize how that interact with that Android Auto.
Day-night mode for maps, automatic.
Next.
Start Android Auto automatically, default set by the car.
And so you could set it to start automatically as soon as you enter the car. Next.
Start Android Auto while locked. Access to your phone features will be available on the car screen while locked. Switch on.
Nice. Next.
Start music automatically. Automatically start media when you start driving. Switch on.
Pump that music on. Next.
Google Assistant. Set your weather, home, work locations, and more for your Google Assistant.
And that has to do with the assistant and how you would like things like weather and all of that to appear on your Android Auto. Next.
Taskbar widgets. Show quick controls for apps. Switch off.
Next.
Driver seat location. Default set by the car.
And you could choose which one it is. That is the driver's seat. And if you're in the UK, you're probably sitting on the wrong side. Next. Ed, I'm looking at you.
Change layout. Navigation closer to driver.
Next.
Notifications. Disabled.
Notifications. Next.
Show conversations. Switch on.
So conversations, say you're texting with someone, whatever the case may be, you could turn those on or off.
Show group conversations. Switch on.
Next.
Show first line of conversations. Switch off.
And you could say, hey, show the first lines of the conversation on or off. It's totally up to you. Next.
Play conversation chime. Switch on.
And you could make it play a chime when a conversation comes in.
System disabled.
And we hear system disabled.
About disabled.
About.
Privacy policy explains how Google handles your information when you use Google services.
Okay.
Safety, data, and legal notices, important information about safety in Android Auto.
Next.
Version 10.4.633.624 release.
And that's the last item here. Let's go back.
Connected devices. Android Auto, 11 of 12, in list, 12 items.
And that would be the last item. Of course, the one at the bottom, the 12th item here would be, are you looking for something else?
Looking for something else.
And that's it. I'll now hand it over to the podcast crew as we deliberate on these things.
Thank you, Warren. I mean, Samsung do some funny things in this, don't they? I mean, I know John's a big Samsung user. I mean, a couple of the ones that struck me, the apps one, where you hand off apps to other devices, and that's sort of all right. But some apps do that anyway, don't they? Without help from Samsung, I'm thinking like Telegram, in particular. So it's an interesting setting. This, I mean, I guess it's good it exists, but that was one of the things that struck me.
Well, I think that, yeah, but I mean, Telegram is just an outlier, or else most of the time, a lot of apps wouldn't do that. So, but I think Samsung is doing something good Because if I have another device and, maybe the battery's dying and I jump on another one, I should be able to pick up from where I left. And so, like we've always said, Samsung always has something good going on, but too many times we don't give them credit enough. Even though I'm not a Samsung fanboy, but I like a lot of the things that they're doing, and I give credit where credit is due. And I actually really like that. I wish I had that on my Pixel, especially I think the one that I like the most is being able to, have the same text sync across my devices. I know Google's working on that or has implemented that. I haven't quite seen it yet, but to me, I think that's probably one of the biggest ones. And like when I want to do things on my computer, for example, and it wants me to turn off RCS in order to be able to have the text sync between my phone and my computer, and my response is, heck no, I'm not going to do that. Why do I have RCS in the first place? And why would I want to turn it off just because I want to be able to do it on the computer? So what I noticed is that if I send a text message from my computer and I go to the messaging app on my phone, it will not show there, and vice versa, unless, of course, I turn off that RCS. So I don't like that. So I think I like what Samsung is doing here.
I don't really like RCS. I have RCS turned off. But yeah, I can see if you do like RCS, that'd be very annoying.
Can I just check for me and listeners, what is RCS?
Rich Communication System.
It's not very catchy, is it?
It is. You are rich. You don't like money, Fee? What's the deal with you, girl?
It's not so much I don't like it, I just haven't got any.
Nothing to do with RCS, but my favorite technology acronym ever. The one they used to have with scanners. Do you remember Twain?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what Twain stood for?
No.
Technology without an interesting name.
Really? Or have you just made that up?
That's BS.
It's not. It's true. Look it up. You literally can look that up. It's not my BS.
Oh, really? I never knew what that was.
That is what Twain stood for. Technology without an interesting name. Yeah,
oh my God. That's absolutely stupid.
It's brilliant. It's very funny.
Not as stupid as dongle, but
that is what
Twain stood. Don't even go to dongle. I love dongle.
So do I, but it's still a very silly name, and that's why I like it.
But it's more catchy than RCS, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
The dongling, huh? Yeah.
You can't forget the dongle.
No.
I have a massive dongle.
Oh dear.
Yeah, even I have.
And John, I think you've done a tip of the week on this before about how you might get Google Cast on a Samsung phone and mirroring. If you choose to mirror instead of Cast on a Samsung phone, if your computer controls the phone? Because this is an issue I had on the Xiaomi. When I mirror, it's really annoying. I can't actually control my computer because everything I press controls the phone.
Yeah, it won't control it because Samsung uses Mirrorcast for their Smart View, but when you use Google's casting protocol, it won't take over it like that. It's simply sending the video and audio.
But so, does that happen when you use Smart View as well? It won't take over, or it does?
I'm gonna say it doesn't. I haven't tried it, but
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it would. I think it's
very annoying.
It's just
I would like to
want
think that it would be just like what the Google Cast does. It's basically just sending it to whatever device, and whatever you do on that device is not going to affect what's going on the phone.
Yeah, because Smart View uses Mirrorcast, which does have control, and they actually have an app called Samsung Float where you can cast between like your phone and your tablet, and you can have your phone screen displayed on the tablet, and you can actually, like, if you turn off TalkBack on the tablet, it'll actually do all the gestures like as if you're touching your phone from there. So it's cool when you want to use it, but when you don't want to use it, you lose control of your keyboard, not good.
So you do lose control of your keyboard then at some stage?
Oh no, not if you're casting with Google Cast. No.
No, I'm talking about Samsung Mirror, not Google Cast.
I'm
I think
not
he
sure because
hasn't.
I've
He
never
hasn't
had a
tried it.
keyboard.
Mm.
I've not casted to my. I've only casted to my tablet. I haven't casted to my PC.
Because on the Xiaomi, it's very annoying. You basically have to turn the phone off before you can use your computer again because it's mirroring, and it thinks you want to control your phone, and you don't. You want to operate your PC. It's like I can not be dealing with that. It's good. It's good there are workarounds though to be able to cast on a Samsung, which you've talked about before on Tip of the Week.
But for controlling stuff on the phone, wouldn't you use Link to Windows?
Oh yeah, I mean, ideally you would. What I'm talking about though is if you want to cast your phone to your computer. Let's say you want to record a demo. The unintended consequence of when you do it on the Xiaomi is that your computer keyboard controls your phone, which is not what you want. So
that sounds so annoying.
It is. That's why you had to turn your phone off. Samsung doesn't use Google Cast though, so I was wondering whether the same thing happened. You can get around it, and John's shown us how to do that on a previous Tip of the Week. But yeah, on the Xiaomi, as soon as you mirror, your computer keyboard is controlling your phone, and then you can't obviously control your PC.
I think that the Xiaomi kind of has it backward. You know, you would think that if I'm using my computer to control the phone, I should be casting something from my phone to the computer. But if I'm casting it from the phone to the computer, it shouldn't be taking inputs from my computer. They kind of have it backward. That's
It
absolutely
does.
silly.
Very annoying. But
I
I
think-
know Samsung does that.
I think that's what happens, Ed, when you keep getting the cat. That's
think
all
you
I can
should-
say about it.
You have an S21. I think you should mirror it and see what your computer does.
Yeah, that's interesting. You think Samsung does? Well, you have a Samsung. Have
don't
you
know.
experienced the same thing with your
I can
Samsung?
try it and let you know. I actually have
Yeah.
a Samsung PC and a Samsung phone, but I haven't casted. So I'll cast and let you know. But yeah, I honestly don't know how it behaves. I'm assuming it wouldn't, but I would assume that about the Xiaomi too. So we'll find out.
Since we're talking about connected devices, I'm just wondering, I think my mum, she uses Link to Windows, and she has before now accidentally cut me off when I've rung her up. Because
Well,
she
you're
said
probably
she
being
was...
really annoying and she was watching TV. Didn't want to talk to you.
No, she said she was closing down stuff on the computer. But I found that a bit weird that would cut me off. And I wondered if
Sounds
any
like
of
an
you knew.
excuse. Like, when my
No,
mum rings
she-
me, I go, the battery signal's gone. You don't think
No,
it's that?
she rang me back, so it wasn't.
Okay. So
Yeah,
she didn't want to talk to you.
She must have closed because you can like control your Android apps from your computer. So maybe she closed the phone app from the computer, is my guess, or whatever app you were talking to her in.
So if you close that, it won't just carry it on the phone. It will actually close it on your phone as well. I see.
Well, because
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
thinking if you're closing it out, you're closing out the source or whatever, because ideally the whole idea is that, you know, you're having this thing on, but it shouldn't have done that though, because I'm thinking of it like, you know, if I'm calling someone from my computer, for example, I use Google Wireless. And when I call someone which is using the same, whatever from my phone, the same service from my phone, I can shut down my phone. It has no effect on it. And I can do everything entirely from the computer. So I don't know why that happened to you between you and your mom. It's kind of
Yeah, it was
odd.
weird because it was just the phone. Like I just rang her on a normal phone number. It wasn't Skype or anything like that. It was just normal phone call. It was very strange.
Although presumably there is a point where you want to take an active decision to close something and it should close.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that.
Or maybe I
Like,
wonder what
you
the
might wanna
end
cut someone
call
off at some point.
icon looks
Yeah.
like. Whether it looks similar to a close button or something like, because she's mum sighted, so maybe it's something like that. I don't know.
Now, I make some joke about you guys in the UK there in the order section of the Android order. And I kind of, I'm like, well, Ed, I'm looking at you. You're sitting on the wrong
The
side.
driver's seat. Yeah. We drive on the right side of the road.
No, we don't. We drive on the left
right as in
side.
the correct side of the road. Yes.
No, you
One
don't.
thing I was interested, and I doubt anyone can answer this. There's a thing on Android Auto that says you can have conversations displayed effectively on the car display. I wonder how that interacts with the setting around not showing sensitive content on the lock screen. Like, will the Android Auto setting override that?
I don't think
'Cause
it would
obviously-
it would override because you have controls. You know, you have the notification section in there. So I think one should be able to kind of, choose what not to show. I haven't done, Android Auto.
Yeah, but it
Um,
says
my
it says
guess
show
would be-
conversations, doesn't it? So
My
it
guess
looks
would be
like
that
it
it
would.
does override it in the
Yeah,
same
I
way.
think it
like
does.
if you have headphones connected and you have them set to announce notifications, they'll still announce them even if it's not being displayed on your lock screen.
Yeah, my sense it would override it because, which is interesting because obviously you might have several people in the car who can see that screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
well,
could-
that
could
would be
be
wrong.
awkward.
I don't think that that would be so wrong because
No, I think John's right. I think that auto setting would override sensitive content. It looks
yeah,
like
but
it does.
you have the
Yeah.
ability to turn it on or off. That's the
yeah,
thing.
that's
I know.
that's what I'm saying. That
But it's set
it
to
would be
on by
wrong.
default, isn't it?
It should be wrong to make it seeable to everyone. One should be able to choose which one should come through and which one should
Yeah,
not come
I'm
through. And I
talking
think that's
about
how it
defaults
is.
though, and I think the default is on auto that is set to on, isn't it?
Well, in that demonstration I was showing, it says notification disabled. So you have to kind of enable it, manually, which ones you
Yeah,
want to see. That's
you'd
my
have to give it
assumption.
permission, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like most apps. Because some people travel on their own in the car all the time, so they might
Yeah.
not mind. So it depends on
I don't
people's
know
situation.
when you demonstrated it, it looked to me like it would override the sensitive content setting.
Yeah, it looks like it. And, they have some toggles in there you could turn on and off. But I think it's a nice implementation. I've been wanting to get the little Android order thing from Motorola that, everyone is talking about, but it always runs out. I think it's like $100 or something. And during Prime Day, I thought it was 79. I went to get it. It was gone.
What was
What's
this?
So it's a little device from Motorola for Android Auto. It's just, it works fabulously without the needs of, wires and things like that. And it's been one of the best auto thing that you can get for
What is it
Android.
though? Like,
So it just pretends it's a car, and you put it in a car that doesn't have Android Auto or support Android Auto. Is it like a screen?
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but there's a lot of reviews about it. I think it's called Moto. Is it MA or something like that? But it's an auto thing, and you couldn't get it. It's just at Best Buy, it's out, and it's been like that forever. And now and then, you'll find it, but it's a very good auto thing.
But is it for in your car?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Android Auto. Yeah. Another thing I like in here is the smart things area. You open the door and it knows you're home, and it either turns on your lights or turns on whatever that you want it to turn on. And I don't have any Samsung smart things, but it just reminds me so much of the assistant. So basically, it's doing the same thing like what the assistant would do.
Yeah, and that was inspired by Blink 182, wasn't it? As all the smart things, na 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 na.
One of these days, I need to have a duet with Ed. I almost say Austin with Ed, the model, sore-headed pixel header.
What would you call your duet, your band? Would you be the Knuckleheads?
Exactly. Two knuckleheads.
And Keith on our email group used to be a singer.
Oh, really? I didn't know
He did.
that.
He did. Yeah.
Neat. Well, then a big shout out to you, Keith, because I didn't know that.